Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. There's an article from Daily Hodl today, and it is titled, XRP Facing 31% Plunge in the Short Term After Suffering Critical Breakdown, says Analyst. So I want to share this with you because the analyst in question is Magic, and this information I actually covered in a video yesterday, and how about this? One day later, there's a crypto media story about it, so I want to talk a little bit about part of it. I covered it very in-depth yesterday, but additionally, I have from this same analyst additional analysis from today, talking about the idea that alt season might be, quote, on ice. So here you go. If you're listening to Moon Lambo channel here, you are on the cutting edge. I'm getting to this before crypto media. Yeah, let me go ahead and pat myself on the back for that. I've also got all sorts of opinions from other chart analysts, including some from the XRP community and some from crypto media. So lots of opinions as far as what's the direction because of price activity, especially as it pertains to XRP, because of course this is an XRP-centric channel, and it always will be. So I'm going to be running through all of this. But before we go any further, if you would please delicately tap that like button, I'd very much appreciate it. And if you're a fan of Ripple and XRP, go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel, because if you do, we could become friends. Maybe even best friends. So the asset class of crypto, 191 billion market cap, even lower than yesterday, womp womp. We got Bitcoin at 7,076, and you got XRP at 22.8 cents. And by the way, Magic, he was saying that XRP, he thinks it's highly probable. We'll see. And again, by the way, he's pro XRP. I want to state that before even citing this. But Magic believes that XRP is going to 15 cents. And he's a pro XRP guy. He's just a trader, and he's saying that's what the data that he's looking at says. So he's not a troll. He is part of the community. Anyway. And so the 24-hour chart, it mostly appears to be trading sideways. There's been a little bit of a dip, 6 hours ago or whatever it was. But let's dig into this piece right here. A crypto analyst is issuing a warning about a potential drop in the price of the third largest crypto asset, XRP. The analyst, known in the industry as Magic, tells his 68,853 followers on TradingView that he's now bearish on XRP after it failed to hold support at 30 cents. He thinks XRP is likely to plunge from its current price of 22 cents to 15 cents. A 31% drop. And by the way, I don't think it cites it in here, but he doesn't rule out XRP going to 3 cents. He actually wrote that yesterday. I do remember that. Anyway, here's a quote from him, though, and I just want to cover this part before moving on because there's more recent information from him and other chart analysts. XRP, along with the vast majority of crypto assets, looks immensely dangerous right now. I've published several analyses talking about this big blue uptrend channel that XRP was in. When XRP was approaching the bottom of it, I suspected that there was a decent chance for a significant rally if it held support. Unfortunately, price never held the bottom of the channel as support. Instead, we've seen a breakdown below the blue uptrend channel, and to make matters worse, price rallied back up to it, tested it, and rolled over to the downside there. So let me hop on to the next piece here. This is a tweet from Chance of a Lifetime, who tagged me along with Kevin Cage. Thank you very much, good sir, and a shout out to you. Chance of a Lifetime wrote this. While the price of XRP is falling on the surface, it seems that we're all losing money. Just remember that you still have the same amount of XRP when the price was higher, unless you sell, of course. And that is the way, I don't know about you guys, that is the way I look at it. I don't look at it in terms, not as frequently anyway, in terms of how much my XRP is worth in terms of US dollars. I'm just looking at the number that I have. Is anybody else like me on that? That's why when the price is low, as it is now, relatively speaking, to me, it can... It can be a very good opportunity. Look, I'm disciplined and I buy on a set schedule, but it can be a good opportunity to stack up and get if you have goals, to get to certain levels of XRP holdings. Because I'll tell you, when January of 2018 rolled around, I was like, oh gosh, well, I'm glad I was able to accumulate a little bit towards the end of 2017 because I didn't know. I was so new to crypto. I'd only been in it a couple months, and I thought, well, I guess the ship has sailed. Maybe the price of XRP will, and I didn't know that it would stay, whether or not it would stay up there, and it didn't, of course. There's a huge 80-90% retracement, whatever it was. But I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to accumulate any more XRP, and so I just kept setting more and more goals and then stretch goals for myself in terms of XRP accumulation. And thanks to the bear market, I was able to hit tons of them, and so at this point I'm just like, well, okay, I'm kind of grateful, as much as it sucks for the value of XRP to go down from a dollar cost average perspective. Not the worst thing in the world right now, and I am Mr. XRP bull. I believe that utility matters and will win the day, so the short-term price action, even if you count the last over a year and a half in terms of negative price action by and large with XRP, I don't care. I don't care. I think that humans don't know what the hell they're doing, but I do think they'll figure it out. All right, next, here's a tweet from XRP Soldier, who writes, "Hodl strong, my friends, weather the storm. When the clouds clear, you'll be glad you did, for this too shall pass." And he tagged me along with the digital asset investor and Kevin Cage, so I wanted to give a shout out to you, XRP Soldier. I appreciate the sentiment, and thank you very much for tagging me. Now, here's a tweet from Moose on Twitter. He writes this: "Why all of a sudden everyone is scared of the Bitcoin and feels it's the end? The last 3 to 4 months, every crypto Twitter account was making charts of Bitcoin going to 6,000 and it would bounce. Now that we are getting there, people call the end of Bitcoin and $1,800 incoming, LOL. Will Bitcoin die? No." Now, Patty Stash, he's a chart analyst, frequently charting XRP. He's definitely pro XRP. And here's what he had to say in response to that. "Inexperience and emotion. When Bitcoin was 10,000, people called the bottom at 6,000. When it was 6,000, they called the bottom at 3. When it hit 3,000, they called 1,500. That's just how the crypto mind seems to work. Keep changing your answer until you get it right, LOL." I thought that was a fair assessment. Now here's a tweet from Samu on Twitter. "A very promising indicator for the alt season is that the Bitcoin dominance chart has been below the trendline support for about 20 days. I foresee a sudden vertical collapse of the chart with very violent percentages, but Ethereum and XRP must turn on the engines." And then somebody named Lamplighter wrote, "I think this is start of Bitcoin falling like you predicted." And then Patty Stash responded to that. Again, XRP chart analyst. "I don't expect Bitcoin to drop much more. However, I do expect altcoin dominance to gain more than Bitcoin dominance." I wanted to cite this specifically because, again, I'm another chart analyst, Magic, coming up, who has, let's just say, a different view. All right, here's another tweet from Patty Stash. "Bitcoin dominance has literally been bouncing off the same damn support for about 2 months, each time weakening it more and more. In my opinion, if Ethereum makes its move higher, it'll give it the juice needed to finally dump the Bitcoin dominance under support." And so he's the one, and some of you, if you've been watching my videos, as the ones where I talk about price, Patty Stash has this call it theory. I think that's fair to say that Ethereum could be the catalyst for alt season. I think it's fair to state it that way. He's been talking about there's just been downward trend line in terms of resistance for 2 years for Ethereum, and he thinks that if Ethereum can break up over that it could really just give him the point, because it's really at a point where everything's coiled up, and it just be like, that's basically the opinion that he has. Now, to this point, it hasn't been the case. He noted that he was a little bit surprised at the degree to which not just Bitcoin but other altcoins dropped in terms of dollar value too, but he still does seem to think that it's certainly possible that Ethereum could ultimately be the catalyst for alt season. So we shall see. I'm just sharing with you sentiments. I don't make price predictions. I just research this stuff and get opinions from all sorts of people and share them with you. So there you go. So that's another opinion there. Now here's Magic. Magic tweets this out. "Bitcoin is breaking down below the 150-week moving average right now. If today's candle closes below it, we could see an acceleration in selling." There's opinion right there. Next here, another tweet from Magic. "To everyone saying I buy high and sell low, you better check the record books. I loaded my bags at the absolute bottom last December. Like I said, I have profits to protect. If you're too dumb to have an exit strategy, you will eventually be handing your money over to people like me." And he wrote that along with a retweet from what he put out on December 27th, 2018, which is as follows. And this is fascinating, so he did seem to find the bottom. He wrote, "FTW, for the win. I'm loading the crypto bags all through here. Again, December 27th, 2018. I've been buying since the lows and will keep buying. If we break down hard below 3,000, then I'll reassess, but I'm willing to take the risk at these prices. I've reached a point where I may just dollar cost average from here. So indeed he did believe, and there's proof right there that was the bottom. And so there you go. Now here's another tweet from Magic. Check this out. Alt season may be on ice as demand appears to overcome supply. And then he's got this whole assessment, and I like that he takes the time to really write out the rationale for why he believes what he believes. And so here's TradingView, and I want to run through this with you. Alt season. It's like an elusive mythical legend, only known through campfire crypto tales and the fables of old. In this update analysis, we're going to take another look at the development of the total crypto market cap excluding Bitcoin to understand how the next alt season is developing, if it's developing at all. Looking at this weekly chart, you can see that the market cap remains below the 50 and 200 week moving averages, orange and purple respectively. What's interesting is that this week's candle shows a strong breakdown below the 200-week moving average in purple. However, it's currently testing the bottom of the Gaussian channel for support. If we compare the current setup to the market cap before the 2016-2018 alt season, we can see that there are some similarities in the way price and the indicators are behaving. Specifically, if you look at 2015, we can see that the Gaussian channel flipped from green to red. At that point, price was defining the bottom of the Gaussian channel as overhead resistance. Then we can see that price broke down below the Gaussian channel. From there, price recovered back into the channel, finding resistance at the midline of it. Then price fell back down to the bottom of the Gaussian channel and held it for support. Subsequently, price was able to break out above the Gaussian channel, and that was an indication that alt season had begun. When we compare that to the current price movement and the way the market cap is interacting with the Gaussian channel, we can clearly see that it's almost identical. However, that doesn't mean that we're guaranteed to see a massive alt season like before. This chart needs to develop more, and we need to see more data. For example, we need to see the market cap rally above the aforementioned moving averages, and particularly the top of the Gaussian channel. We also need to see the Gaussian channel flip to green again. That, in conjunction with other indicators like the weekly RSI trading into overbought territory, will be massive indicators that the next alt season has begun. However, I wouldn't get too excited just yet. Bitcoin looks extremely weak right now, and personally, I think there's a lot of danger in the market right now. In other words, if Bitcoin continues to fall, it could easily drag the alts down lower, which would cause them to break down below the Gaussian channel, which would be a deviation from what was seen prior to the last alt season. That hasn't technically happened yet, but I do think it is a risk worth acknowledging. Looking at the RSI, you can see that it's already dipping below the low that was printed on the TRO labeled with the 4 in 2015. It isn't much, but what's interesting is that when the market cap tends to get below that area, which is the red trend line, things start to get pretty nasty. For now, we need to keep our eye on this to see how it plays out. If alts start to drop below the Gaussian channel, I think we could see some pretty nasty selling out there. On the other hand, if we confirm above it, alts could be entering a very similar bull cycle to what we saw from 2016 to 2018. However, there is one glaring indication that makes me think we have a problem here, and it's the volume. You can see that the volume in alts has been rising since the high in early 2018, while the overall market cap has been on a substantial decline. That is a sign that demand is overcome by supply, and it usually precedes further declines. Typically, this indicator should include a look at open interest. However, I can't find an open interest indicator for the total market cap of crypto excluding Bitcoin. Either way, it's generally not a good sign to see volume rising like that while price is falling. It shows major weakness that didn't exist before the last alt season. Regardless, I will be keeping my eye on this chart so that I can act quickly when the time is right. And so there you go. There's another opinion right there. So concerned that alt season might not so much be happening. Next here's a tweet from Awake who goes, well, he's at Mr. Level Up who goes by Awake on Twitter. Another XRP community member here, and he wrote this. It's interesting to watch XRP/USD go down while its dominance chart has been climbing behind the scenes just as it did in 2017. The tricky can easily fool one, as not many ever look at XRP dominance only chart. The chart I posted today with the poll is XRP's dominance on the 4-hour. And then he wrote in a different tweet, easing the minds of the hodlers, don't let temporary XRP/USD patterns play with your emotions, as the finish line to what you want to see could be a few candles away. Stay fresh in the mind. And then he has another tweet, and he wrote, daily view for XRP dominance is ready to rock. And so that's the chart that he had associated with that. So positive sentiment there, right? All right, next, here's a tweet from XRP Resonance on Twitter. BTC/USD turbulent times. Relief rally in question. If it fails, it's going to fail big. So if we invest in XRP or any other crypto for that matter and don't keep a laser focus on what Bitcoin is doing to help our timing, we are idiots. Not investment advice. So another sentiment right there. All right, and next, shout out to Stone Hodl XRP, fellow XRP community member, and he recently started an XRP YouTube channel. You can look him up. He's at Stone Hodl XRP. You can find him on Twitter, and he's got a link to his YouTube page if you want to go ahead and check that out. And he sent this to me earlier today, and I was direct messaging with him a bit. And he said, let me ask you this. Do I have an accent? I guess it's all relative, right? But he asked me if I'm a South Dakota man, and the answer is no. And he says that I have an accent. So I've never been told I have an accent. I don't think I do. I'm a Midwest dude, but you tell me if I do. That's fine. But anyway, so here's the article that he sent to me. XRP poised for gains as parallel channel takes shape. And so I want to scroll down to the bottom. A lot of us, they give technical reasons, and so when I share opinions from technical analysts, I almost never want to give all of the specifics. I know I read through a lot of what Magic had to say, but his insights, it's a little bit different. Like, this gets a little like tech wonky here on AMB Crypto, so I really don't want to run through that. To me, that's a little bit different, talking about 12-hour charts and this and that. I just want to read the conclusion here because I like just sharing the overall sentiment from different technical analysts. If you want pure technical analysis, this is not the channel for you. I'm all about fundamentals, but I do also like to share with you the sentiments from a whole hodgepodge of different chart analysts out there, just so you can kind of get a bigger picture of the feel of traders and chart analysts out there. So here's the conclusion from a name, I'm going to butcher this name, Chayanika Deka. That's the close I can get to it. And here's the conclusion that she wrote regarding XRP. Despite the pattern suggesting a bullish phase for the coin in the near term, the indicators projected a bearish picture for the coin. This could imply another potential decline in its price down the channel before the price of XRP finally breaks out to the positive side. So that's it for this video. And I will say, though, before signing off here, I am a long-term guy, and if you're out there and you are scared of XRP price, well, I hope it's not because you've overextended yourself. That's not fun. But if you're just worried in general about the longevity of this, look, not financial advice, period, because I don't have a financial background, nothing like that. I'm just your everyday Joe Schmo, run-of-the-mill XRP community member. I just happen to run a YouTube channel. But look, there's a reason that I'm long-term, and it purely comes down to I see real-world adoption taking place, and I think that more people the world over are going to invest in the world of crypto as it becomes, the crypto asset class, as it becomes clear that there is genuine staying power. So I don't care. Like, to me, I care, but I'm not emotionally affected by this type of volatility. It doesn't matter. But that's it for this video. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!